Can you hear me? Is everything fine? Shall we start?
Yes. Yes, sir. You
Can you
can.
hear me? Okay, anyone else on Google Meet? Can you hear me? Anyone else on Google Meet?
Yeah. Yes, sir. We are here.
Okay. Yes. So thank you so much for everyone joining this session. It's a webinar series and interaction with our previous students. So welcome to SN Bose Physics Learning Center. Welcome to this webinar. In this webinar, we are going to discuss about research and PhD opportunities at European countries. So this is not any talk kind of thing. It's a kind of interaction with our previous student and getting some details, getting some information. So initially, I will individually interact with our previous student Dinesh and Prateek for 5 to 10 minutes. Then we will start asking them questions regarding this particular topic. I will start with Dinesh. So Dinesh, thank you so much for joining this session. Welcome.
Thank you for inviting me, sir.
So could you please tell about your place? I mean, you are from Bangalore. I mean, about your place, family, parents' occupation, like that.
Uh, I mean, my dad is a machinist, so typically we make gears and transmissions. So
Okay.
we already discussed this, but we are starting an industry as well. So we are working with institutes like DRDO and GTRE to manufacture ultra precise gears. Uh, and my brother is also an aeronautical engineer, but he moved towards an MBA, and then he's working at Deloitte now.
Okay.
But yes, and my mom also, she's taking up some financial operations within the industry now. So that's
Mhm.
typically how my family is at the position. Yeah.
Okay. So you are from Bangalore. Could you please briefly tell us about your schooling, where you have done your schooling, class 11, 12, college, or something?
Yes. So for my until my 10th, I was like mostly homeschooled. So just for my
Oh,
10th examinations, I had to register under the school and then write the examinations. So it
okay.
was my father's choice to get me homeschooled. But
Oh.
yeah, after that, I started my 11 and 12 at St. Joseph's itself, which is right next to the institute, actually, very close by. So right after that, I continued a bachelor's degree right there in physics,
Okay, you have done
electronics, and
class 11, 12. You have done class
yeah,
11, 12 in St. Joseph only?
yeah. Yes.
Okay. So could you please hold on? I mean, is Dinesh voice is clear for everyone? Pratik?
Yes,
Yes.
sir. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Thank you. So, okay. After that, you have. Why didn't you choose engineering? Because your brother, he was an engineer.
Uh, yeah. So even he wanted to choose a degree into science as well, not pure engineering, because everybody was stepping into engineering at that point. And also there are like this lot of competitive exams to go through into engineering, whereas I mean I wasn't aware as well. So uh, JEE main wasn't a thing when I was actually doing PU. So everybody was into CET, and you could only end up in like local universities. So I thought it would be better to choose science degree rather than engineering. Although I did give
Hmm.
CET and JEE mains, and I qualified mains, but I didn't proceed with advances at that point. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Nice. Then, okay. So could you please tell us about your BSc and MSc journey? In I think you have done MSc in St. Joseph only, am I right?
hmm
I mean,
So
so could you?
so BSc I chose here it's like a triple major system. So I chosen physics, electronics, and mathematics. I worked on both physics and mathematics, but mostly concentrated on mathematics. But I also ended up doing a project in physics as well at the end of the day. So in mathematics, I particularly worked with a professor here in CSR Paradigm Institute. I don't know if many are aware of it. So There I worked for like 1.5 year on weather models, highly nonlinear weather models, and that motivated me to take actually a degree in mathematics. But I ended up choosing a degree in physics rather than mathematics. And right after that, I finished my masters. I think around a year, and then we had to start a research program right within the masters. Yeah, so I ended up doing research on quantum computation.
Okay. Yeah. So that's nice. So now, I mean, how did you develop your research interest? I mean, during I mean, how did you choose your research area?
Uh, Currently, now I'm working on quantum communications. So
Mhm.
quantum was always a huge thing within when I was studying. So also it's if deep down it is purely mathematical. So that is one thing that actually motivated me to take quantum communication as a field of research. So whatever I did until now is like something that supports quantum communication, rather it be like quantum computation as well. So everything is adds up to that field. And
Okay.
also even the pure math stuff I did, which was into nonlinear dynamics, that also happens to be very supportive at this point when doing quantum communication, because we are dealing with a lot of micro resonators and many chip designs as well. But for this micro resonators particularly, we need a lot of nonlinear dynamics. So that helps a lot to have a really good mathematical background.
Okay. Yeah. So nice. Now, what made you to apply abroad? So when did you decide to apply abroad?
Uh, as I was going through GATE as well.
Hmm.
So when I was going through GATE, okay, I cleared it for the first time, like when I joined the institute. I think it was around 1 or 1.5 month, and you had just finished quantum mechanics at that point.
Hmm.
So I just read quantum mechanics and ended up clearing that GATE exam. But then I think after 6 months, when I finished GATE examination, I got offered the joint master's PhD program in IIT Kharagpur. That was the program's name, where you end up doing an MTech and then a PhD program right after that. Uh, I didn't give many interviews at that point. The only few I gave was like right near Bangalore itself. So this program didn't have any interviews as such. So I just apply and you get into the program. But yeah, that's right where when I started applying for abroad, and yeah, we I had applied for other PhDs as well. I did get into other PhDs, but I chose this institute particularly for very good research into optics.
Okay. So now, what were the institutes that you shortlisted while applying? I mean, did you target Max Planck, or I mean any other institute that you shortlisted and applied?
So I first went to like because gate clearance was like a huge thing when you apply for this PhD positions. So I went through like at the top of my list was NUS in Singapore. So that's where I started to apply. And one of the requirements for a PhD was getting gate score. And from there it was TUM in Munich here, and every TU here actually recommends you to have a good gate score as well. So gate really plays an important role. CSER not so much, but yes, gate is like internationally recognized. So anywhere within Europe and even Taiwan as well, they recognize gate. So I took that as my base thing. I started applying. At that exact time, Max Planck also had a position opening up. So they usually take two people around the year. So they're like two different divisions. So I got into one of that.
Okay. Now, could you please so tell us about your application process in the Max Planck, and any interviews, any exams that they conducted, or did they had any orientation program? Could you please explain that process of getting into PhD?
Yeah. So right before everything, they just have an overview of the institution and the research that is being conducted, and after that, the applications will open. And this is generally done through YouTube. They have like a lot of videos made out of the institution, and they privatized it. But as you apply for it, they would share you some videos and introduce themselves and what are the group's researchers are, and in particular details. And right after that, you have to send a general application telling what all research you have conducted. It could be very general. It need not be specific, anything specific to optics as well. uh, and after that, they'll ask for two recommendation letters, and that actually is really important, whom you get the recommendation letters from. And those letters have to be some from people that actually know you, and they could watch for your research. So after that, there is a short interview just to see how motivated the student is. This will be done with the HR department, and if they give a pass, then it'll move on to a written exam. So in this written exam, it is around hour and a half or so, 1.5 hour. So within this written exam, it's again, this is where again gate helps as well. So most of the questions that were asked were, I haven't shared it with you. So they were, with knowing gate, you could actually solve most of these questions. And I think, yeah, okay. So yeah, so after
Okay.
going through this,
Okay. They
yeah,
conducted
go
that
ahead.
exam online.
Yes, yes, they conducted the exam online, but it was monitored. They monitored it through online itself.
Okay. Okay. Mhm.
Yeah, this
So I think you
I
said
think gave.
they conducted interview on the basis of your exam performance. You said like that.
Yes, yes. So after the exam got cleared with a really good score, so they call up like two or three candidates for a final interview, and this will be to it with the director and the person handling the program. So first thing is they would ask like how you approach the problem itself. So why use particular techniques? Because so, okay, this is a question, but yeah.
No, no,
So
wait. I'll take the question. Okay, we have a lot of question to ask. I'll take the question from the meeting. So people. So you can continue, Dinesh.
yeah, so even as simple as one of the problem was harmonic oscillator, where we just shift the oscillator, and we can use completing the squares method to actually solve it. So their approach is, why use that exact method, and why does it actually work? So simple questions like that, they point it out and go through that. And of course, there are particular questions with respect to optics as well, because they're choosing for optics itself. So every institute, there are like multiple Max Planck institutes. They particularly choose questions based on those institutes itself. So yes, and after that, they go through your projects that have been done, and that also is a huge thing, because you're supposed to explain every single detail of the projects. And after that, again, a small interviews given, where they explain about how Max Planck conducts his research, and the security issues and stuff like that. And that's how the whole program processes.
Okay. So did you separately apply for funding, or what? Or I mean, the whole position was funded, or how was the funding part?
Okay, so in this case, although I applied for a PhD, so I couldn't get into a PhD because I didn't have the necessary coursework into optics. So I had to go through some coursework.
Mhm.
Now I've gone through like quantum optics and advanced lasers and stuff like that. So after that gets done, so until this period is done, you can take however long you want. It will be called as a study phase, and right after the study phase, I'll be starting my research phase. And depending on which group I apply to, the funding differs. So it's
Okay.
a group oriented thing. Some because some groups are like very industrial oriented, they can fund
Mm.
complete scholarships. So whereas
Oh.
most of them have like 70% scholarships. So they have a certain scale of scholarships. So depending on that, they fund you.
Mhm. So now, I mean, okay, during this coursework, they provided any funding or it was self-financed?
It was all funded by them. So they
Okay.
fund you enough to survive actually, not
Mhm.
much out of the scale of that. But if you have free time, you can always find outside work. But they
Mhm.
found fund around 1,000 euros. Uh, for a student, it'll take around 700 to 600 euros to comfortably live here. So you can
Mhm.
save up to 200 euros a month just for the master's phase. And if I mean if that is not enough, then you can always find like part-time work within the institute itself. So other group leaders will offer it's called hivi here. So it's a working student position, so you work as a student as well. So
Mhm.
that would pay you around extra 500 to 600 euros.
Mhm. So now, did this preparation for CSIR gate help you in the process? I mean,
Yeah, for the examination part, it helped a lot. Even with the, I mean, not just the Max Planck exam, even the coursework that I've been going through. Even there, it's like knowing the fundamentals and knowing short tricks to solve is actually very helpful, because you can nail down the entire problem into very small solutions. So that helps a
mm,
lot, and from there you can proceed to whatever you want to solve. So even though the subject gets complicated, to have the fundamentals is actually helpful, really, really helpful.
mhm.
So yeah.
Yes. Okay. So thank you. I mean, I have one more question. You can explain at the end what is your future plan. Let us discuss later. So Prateek, so thank you so much for joining this meeting. We only know that you are in Poland right now. So could you please tell us about your background, like your family, your native, and mainly your hobby?
Yes, thank you for including me in this interaction. I'm from Sirsi, Karnataka. It's in the Western Ghat region of the Karnataka, if you know. So I'm from a village called Bengle. My parents are do agriculture, mainly a coconut farm, and I completed my 11th, 12th, up to 11th, 12th in my hometown only, Sirsi. And then I did my BSc in Mysore, Eurajas College. Uh, so my hobbies are like doing Yakshagana, that's a semi-classical art form of Karnataka, theatre art. And after completing BSc, I joined SN Bose for a year before going to the MSc. I think SN Bose was located in Harvard at that time. So after that, I did the MSc in Central University of Karnataka, but it was mostly online because of COVID, of course. And only for the master's thesis, I got to go to the university. And after that, I joined here in Poland.
Okay. So could you please so tell us about I mean, how did you develop your research interest? Like, I mean, during your MSc. I mean,
So
in Central University, you had, I think, many choices like soft matter, spintronics, and particle physics. I mean,
yes,
how which one you have chosen and which one? How did you develop it?
yes. So in BSc and exactly after BSc, I didn't have any idea about the research topics or anything else. But after joining MSc, I got introduced to different topics in Central University of Karnataka. Rather than knowing what I want to do, I knew what I don't want to do. So I definitely knew I wasn't into the material science and condensed matter physics and those things. I was interested in this quantum information and those astrophysics and high energy physics, those fields. But in Central University of Karnataka, I got a professor in high energy physics, experimental high energy physics, who was very he was a great person. So he inspired me to move into that field. So I started liking that field, and now I'm into the particle physics.
Okay. Okay, that's nice. Now, so what made you to apply abroad? Why not in India?
Uh, because of I was into theory in the beginning of the masters, but because of him, I chose experimental, and I liked it. For the experimental particle physics, I think there are only few top institutes in India that are doing good research, and there are not much facilities available. So for me, getting into TFR or ISC, it was very tough. So I applied abroad, and I started looking for abroad, and I had a good master's project. That was a very huge plus point. So I started looking into the abroad, and that's what happened.
Okay, what are the institute and what are the countries that where you applied?
Uh, I I didn't target any institutes as such in the beginning. I just started looking into the groups and the projects they are doing, and then just started applying. I didn't see the university name or institute name, so I applied manywhere like Max Planck, TUM, and many institutes in Canada. I didn't want to go to US, so and also in France, Poland,
Why
Belgium. Huh?
why not US?
US, I didn't like US, but and it seems uh, it seems a hassle. And while I'm applying, there was a problem with this visa also. So I didn't want to go through that many things.
Okay.
And I liked European living and the research cultures, etc. And also GRE and those TOEFL, those kind of things were mandatory in US and
In
Canada.
Mhm.
So I leaned more towards the uh, European countries.
Okay.
The main factor was application fee. European
Uh-huh.
countries, there is no application fee. You can directly apply and go through everything, and it works. But in
Mhm.
US, initially you have to pay the fee. That's what I did. So while choosing PhD, I looked into the advertisements on the websites of the institutes, and I directly emailed professors for the opportunity, and many of them replied, and I got 2 3 interviews. So I got into a Canadian university, University of Manitoba. Then I got a call from Poland, Jagiellonian University. So I had to choose between them, and I chose Poland because of conveniency, and the position was equal in terms of academic uh, things, but because of convenience, I chose Poland. That's it.
Okay. So now, what they saw in you while offering the position? I think I forgot to ask Dinesh. I will go to Dinesh also. What
Mhm.
exactly they saw in you while offering the position? What they expect?
They mainly expect me to know the things that are helpful for their project. I think this is different from what Dinesh said. uh, for me, the process was like I got an interview with professors, the supervisors, and they explained me what they are doing first, and then they asked me what are my skills and what they asked me to send my master thesis, the whole thesis. So they read that and they find the skills and my interests are aligned with their project, and then they agreed to take me as a student. Then I had to go through the formalities of the university. The first, so here the university, they take an interview from all the groups in the physics department. Uh, in that interview, I have to give uh, 10 minutes 10 minutes presentation on my master thesis and 10 minutes presentation on the PhD work that I intend to do. So they ask very basic questions and very deep questions related to both the things I did in my master thesis and things I'm going to do in my PhD. So if if they seem to know that I know things and I'm genuinely interested in doing this research, then it's most likely to take me as a student.
Okay, did they saw any skills in you in particularly while offering?
Yes, of course. They wanted a position where they have to do mainly some Monte Carlo calculations. So I had a very good experience in Giant 4 and other programming languages as well. So I think they saw that in my CV and they accepted my application in the beginning. But then they also agreed to include experimental things in my project, in my PhD goals. So that happened after interview. So it is up to you to convince them like what you are good in.
Hmm. Okay, so Dinesh, I forgot to ask you. I mean, what they saw in you overall while offering the position, or
Uh,
what they expect?
I mean, even at Max Planck, the procedure is the same as explained. So what differed with me is that I had to go and get the master's stipendum instead of the PhD stipendum.
Mhm.
So because of that, instead of checking for what projects you have done, they went on through checking your fundamental skills. So that's what differed because the uh, I mean the condition to offer a master's stipendum is you're really good at the field that you already studied. So they checked for fundamental physics first, and they wanted an assurance that I could do research. So that they got it from my professors, who had wrote them personal mails. And after that, through the interview, they got to know what work I've done as well. So all this put together was how they ended up offering it for me. And even how we tend to explain the problems by the end interview that I had. So a lot of students appeared until the end interview, but they were very hesitant to explain the problems, how they approach the problems. They knew how to solve it, but they're very extremely hesitant to explain it. So that one was one of the things that ended up, yeah.
Okay,
Then,
so did they saw any skills or any particular in you? I mean, so that you can do better research than others like that.
yes. So the director of Max Planck was a mathematician himself. So he's a pure physicist. I mean, a theoretical physicist. So me being a mathematician, also, I mean, I've done a lot of research in mathematics. That helped him a lot to, process with the final applications. And even the interview that we had at the end of the day, that also was like a little bit leaning towards the mathematics rather than physics. So he was interested into what mathematics part I've done rather than because they get a lot of applications in the same field, but they wanted somebody who could also branch out and have a different view as well. So anything from physics or biology, that helps a lot. Even having a little bit of skill, and especially programming nowadays. So even that helps a lot. So if you know any basic programming languages, that is also very much preferred in labs. Yeah. So that was one of.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So now, okay, I have again some more questions, personal question to ask to both of you. I will take it. Pratik, you needed to apply for funding separately, or whether it was
No,
included in the application?
it was included in the program. The PhD program had a funding from the university itself, and I also got another grant from the project I was doing. The collaboration from the project collaboration, I got a separate funding, and the university is also it's well funded with the PhD program itself. We don't have to apply for different fundings.
Okay. Okay, nice. So now I will go to some questions. Already many people who have registered for this webinar, they have already sent some questions. I will start asking one by one. I hope you can see. Is that okay if I keep this PPT on? I have shared the screen. I don't know whether you can see or not. Is that okay if I keep it on?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes.
Okay, so I will keep this PPT on and I will ask question. Questions are there here on this PPT. How important MSc project and any internship the student do during their MSc, are they mandatory? Pratik, could you please
Yes.
answer? Okay, now please answer this question out of your whole experience, not only
Mhm.
the experience that you had in the university that you have joined already, but you have already applied 2 to 3 universities and you had some experience. Am I right? Please answer
Yes.
this question on the basis of your experience. Pratik,
Yes.
what is your thought?
Yes. The MSc project or the internship is mandatory, in my opinion, because I got interviews from three or four institutes, I think. But I applied for, I think, more than 30 or 35 places.
Okay.
So the main reasons I didn't get a call is the mismatch of my my master's project and their project. So
Okay.
MSc project, because in many European institutes, they don't have the coursework like do they have in India. So they expect you to know the skills and some research experience in the field they are working on. So MSc projects or the internship is mandatory uh, to apply PhD in European institutes. Um, MSc project, if you don't have an MSc projects, doing internships is the best option, I think. In my opinion, that's the
Okay, you say it's nearly mandatory. Okay, so Dinesh,
yes.
your thoughts according to your
Uh,
experience?
yeah, so I'd also say the same because that has a huge impact for them to choose you because they don't have any background to go through. Everybody goes through the same coursework typically in a graduate school, but what sets you apart is to their team is at least what project you do. Sometimes you might end up not doing the project they want, but
Is there
you
any
have the
problem?
skills.
Okay, this is our problem, right?
Uh,
Sorry, our connection went off. So can you hear me, Dinesh?
yes, yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, so Dinesh,
Yes.
again, we didn't hear you. Could you please repeat?
Yeah, so their point of choosing happens to be typical using your project or internships. So since everybody goes through, I was saying that everybody goes through same coursework. So for them to choose, it happens to be very important that you have a MSc project. It doesn't matter if it has to be in the same field as well, because sometimes they'll be just looking for the skills they want. So if the skills match with their requirements, that also is more than enough. So
Okay. Okay, I mean, we should have something to tell them, am I right? I mean, then
yes,
MSc
yes.
project is one of it. Okay, thank you. So now, is having published research paper necessary for getting admitted into PhD in Europe? How important the research experience? Yeah, Pratik, you can start.
Yes. So I didn't have any papers published before getting into PhD. Uh, the research papers publications helps a lot if you had them. It's more like a master's project. It will show your work, and uh, it will show that you have done a genuine work which can be publishable. So it helps a lot, but it's not mandatory. If you have the necessary skills and research oriented mind, that is more important. uh, it helps. It's not mandatory. That's what I'm like to say.
Okay, I mean, how important the research experience prior to joining PhD?
uh, in my experience, it's very important, because whatever I am doing now, I learned in during my master's project. Here I don't see anyone teaching how to do research. They just expect you to do the research. They can help you in uh, the physics aspects, but how to do the research, that you have to know beforehand. I think Indian professors, uh, in my experience, tend to teach those things during to their students. Even for PhD students, I have seen like they guide how to do the research and ethics, those things. So it is important.
Okay, yeah. So, thank you, Dinesh. Your views on this one?
For some of the universities that I was applying to, they did ask some research papers, because I mean, it's just like if you start applying at like really top universities at rank 50 and above, yes. So they do tend to ask research papers, and especially if you're applying to US, they wanted at least a paper, because for them it is already considered that if you have a master's degree, they you already have done some research as well. But
Mhm.
you can, of course, as Pratik said, it's like you did not have a research uh, paper
Okay.
published.
Mhm. Now, you had any research paper published? Did they observe that one, Dinesh?
I didn't have a paper published, but we had worked on a paper where we reproduced the results, and we tried it with a new compound as well as a bachelor's thesis. So
Mhm.
that is something that they paid really attention into. We didn't publish it, but it was publish worthy. So our guide decided not to publish it, but I had to put it in my resume, and they took it up.
Mhm.
So
Mhm. Okay.
it does
Okay, but you
favor.
worked on research that they observed, am I right? I mean, you did
Yes,
some
of
research that
course.
they observed. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I
Pratik,
would
you
like to
want?
add some.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
it differs from university to university. In my case, uh, uh, along with the interview, they gave points for CV and the recommendation letters and other things, the master thesis, everything. So if I had a research paper published, uh, even if I did the interview a little poor, I would have got the position. That will be the case. So it is a very good plus point, but um, not mandatory for all the all the universities.
Okay, I mean, suppose if a student have a research paper, then can we say that he will definitely get somewhere,
Yes,
Dinesh?
because
Yes, I mean, in most cases that is true because at least one of the universities in Europe would be willing to offer if they already have a published paper.
Mhm. Okay, Pratik, you want to add anything?
no, no, that's it.
Yes. Yeah, so thank you. I'll move on to next question. Before moving on to next question, is everyone seeing my shared screen? I mean PPT. So Dinesh, Pratik, can you see that one?
Yes.
Yes.
I've shared it on other PC. Okay. Yeah, thank you. You can pin to that shared screen so that you can see the questions. Okay. How important is the alignment between your master thesis or project topic and the intended PhD research area? Suppose you have done some project work or research during masters, or if you have published any paper, is it necessary that you need to choose the same research area, or you can choose any other research area? I mean, while
Uh,
applying European countries. Yeah.
yes. So the I don't know what you mean by the area. If you mean uh, doing master thesis in particle physics and moving to the condensed matter, I think that will be very difficult. But within the broad subject area, uh, you can differ from the master thesis. They don't see the topic of your master
Oh,
thesis.
network.
They see. They got cut off.
Yeah.
So can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Our network broke again. We have some issue with the Wi-Fi. Okay, please carry on, Pratik. You were saying something.
Yes. They essentially see how you did the research. That means the skills you have developed, and uh, if it is aligned with the master thesis, it is very good. But you can change the field. Uh, in my case, I worked on supernova neutrinos in my master's thesis, but now I'm working on low energy nuclear physics. So,
Okay, I mean,
uh,
like changing from particle physics to material science may not be possible, but
yes,
within high energy or that particle physics, you can choose different area. That's what you're saying.
yes, I think so. I think it may be different in the quantum and astrophysics, those kind of area, because the underlying the skills and the mindset will be the same in those cases.
Mhm.
I think so. Maybe Dinesh can add.
Okay, Dinesh, you are please.
Yeah, at least in my case, it's a little bit different because we don't actually have a really good optics experimental case. Yes, in India at least. At least in my institute, we didn't have a really good optics lab or research equipments. So, uh, to I mean, I had to choose a different field completely out of optics. I chose quantum computation, but then. The underlying core is the same, so it always happens to be quantum mechanics. So getting a really good hold on that, and also my thesis was on theoretical physics rather than experimental. So in that sense, it didn't actually matter in my case. But usually, if you're doing a PhD, it is really helpful to have a master thesis that is aligning with your PhD very well.
Okay, if it is aligned with the intended PhD research area, then it's more easy to convince them. Can I say like that?
Yes.
Huh, okay, thank you. So now, uh, how do we choose the right university and research group for our PhD in Europe? I mean, suppose Pratik, I mean, how did you choose that one? Did you target your interested research area only those university and groups, and or what you have done?
Yes. So I followed a rule. Um First, I just applied for whatever I'm interested in, and I didn't look for any other things. I only looked for high energy astrophysics and high energy particle physics groups. But it didn't work out so well. So what worked out for me is I managed to match, I think, I at least 60 to 80% of my interest and 70 to 90% of my skills with the position. So that is, I think that is the good way to choose the right research group. And another thing is, um, if you go through their website, you can find someone uh, that you can talk to about the group in that institute. So I would say there will be at least one Indian in every group across the all the institutes. So uh, almost all the institutes I applied in, I had someone whom I can ask like how the research goes in and how is the supervisor and those things. That helps a lot because you have to deal with them for 3 to 4 years. So that is how I would approach the choosing right university.
Okay. Hmm. So I mean, applying whatever you are interested initially, all places,
Yes,
then along with that one, slightly different areas like that.
yes. That is very important because expanding your thinking happens only when you choose some other field, not only in unidirectional thinking.
Okay, okay. So Dinesh, could you please share your views?
I also have similar thoughts, but one thing I don't know if it's going to come up as a question, but there is not just universities that one could apply to. So the PhD is not just a university thing. So there are also industrial partners as well. So you can end up working with the university come an industry, which is a nice thing to do. So for example, TU Delft offers a PhD position where they can work with ASML. So if your goal is not to take up a position as a lecturer, I mean, if you're going towards academic oriented PhDs, so the goal is that you end up doing a postdoc and then become an assistant professor. But if that is not what you're looking for, then there is also an option of choosing a purely industrial oriented PhD, where you don't do fundamental researches, you will do researches towards the engineering part of PhD. So that is one thing. And
Okay. On that basis, also you can target different university, different groups. Okay.
yes, yes.
Okay.
Then generally, industries also put out their own PhDs. So
Mhm.
they're on their websites itself. So depending on what field you want to choose, like material science is also kicking up and optics. So you can see the top players in this fields, and then you can actually check their websites. Usually they post up PhDs, and if you pick a PhD, the idea is that you tend to work for them in the future uh, as
Mhm.
a employee.
Okay. Okay.
So that is also one thing.
Hmm. Hmm. So shall I go to next question? What are the necessary criteria like academic percentage, like 50-55%, like they mention here? So what are the necessary criteria, like percentage, entrance exam, like that? Pratik, I mean, did they mention anything in their portal?
Yes, I think most of them mentioned like a first class, uh, 60%, I think. I don't remember exactly. But for in my university, they counted the first year and the second year grades, marks essentially towards the whole point. Like 50% was for interview, and another 50 was divided into CV and these percentages in the first year and the half of the second year. That was the case. I think many applications mentioned something like that, but it is not that mandatory, I guess. Uh, I didn't come
Oh,
across these. I didn't have to worry about these things. I didn't come across exactly. They are telling like you should have this much of percentage in your master thesis. There was nothing like that in that advertisements.
okay. Okay. So any entrance exam, I mean, not in, I think in your university at Poland, they might not have asked any entrance exam, or in
No.
any other institute, did they ask any, conduct any entrance exam, or did they consider gate or something, Pratik? What you
Uh,
experienced?
I had cleared gate, but it wasn't that much good ranking. So it was mentioned in my CV, but no, for my in my case, no one asked me about any entrance exams, especially gate or something like that. And I
Mhm,
didn't come across their entrance exam also. There were none in Canada also, and in European countries.
mhm.
The
Okay,
interview
so
was
Dinesh,
online.
yes. So Dinesh, could you please share your idea? I mean, did they check your BSc, MSc percentage?
Yeah, in my case, for the master's stipendum, they had to go through this procedure. It was a plus point that I had received the ranker certificate from Bangalore University. So that helped a lot for them to narrow down at least the first round. If you are like from a reputed institution that they know of, then academic percentages don't matter. If you're applying from IITs or NITs, but when they don't know the university, uh, the percentage actually kind of matters. And even for a PhD as well, at least in Max Planck, depending on the group, they check because at least here most of the courses are taught by Max Planck themselves. So they take their own time off and teach at the university. So they actually consider the grade as a really good scaling to take their offer a PhD as well.
Mhm,
So here there is a 5 point grading scale. So you get the highest grading scale of 1 and the least of 5. So at least in Max Planck, as I've seen, they prefer something 2 and above. So 80% is something they consider.
mhm. Okay, please. I mean, so meeting aspirant, please. Could you please note down your question? I will take one by one. I have some more questions here. Um, so now next question is, uh, can this 3-year BSc plus 2-year MSc graduates directly get into PhD in Europe? Are the Indian academic credits sufficient? Now, again, Pratik, you are from Central University. Dinesh, you are from State College. I mean, maybe for both of you, it may be different. Could you please share your experience on this one? Because I heard our 3-year BSc plus 2-year MSc sometimes not sufficient to directly enroll to PhD. They may ask you to cover more coursework or do one more master's. Yeah. Pratik.
Yes. For the University of Manitoba, that was in Canada, it was the case. The 3-year plus 2-year MSc was not sufficient, and they asked me to do 1-year MSc that will be converted into a PhD after the year. But in Europe, it was sufficient. 3-year BSc plus 2-year MScs. Um, Technically, it's sufficient, and academic credits are okay for this PhDs. But in some cases, people prefer to do some kind of specialized masters 1 year masters in some specialized fields like medical physics or high energy physics or something like that. That will help, but it's not mandatory, I guess. For some institutes like Max Planck, others, they will see your MSc thoroughly, and if you lack some uh, topics in your MSc, they can give you another MSc. But in my experience, I didn't come across anything like that. In European institutes, everyone accepted 3+2 from the India. Only in
Okay, so
Canada they offer 1 year MSc.
now I have one more question. Whether
Mhm.
total credits in Central University in during MSc is different from State University,
Uh,
total number or something they count.
I don't think it's different. The only
Yeah.
reason that I think mine differed was because I didn't have any of the courses in optics.
No.
So they were very particular in optics because the institution runs on optics. So they wanted
Mhm.
courses like nonlinear optics and advanced lasers and quantum optics. So that was the only reason they asked me to pursue the extra credits. Uh, Other than that, when I applied to University of Vienna, they were good with 3+2 years.
Okay,
I
okay.
think the credits are
Uh,
same. The number of credits are same for
Mhm.
almost same, 72 to 75 credits, I think, for the whole year.
mhm. Okay, so then, hmm. So, but I mean, what would you suggest? Would you suggest, suppose if they don't have a good master's program, I mean, if they haven't gone through good master's program, do you suggest them to do some masters and then get into PhD?
Yes, I would recommend that. Even I thought to do some masters before joining to the PhD, and I regret it now because of COVID. I didn't have any experimental experience. I didn't have any laboratory experience in my masters. So in the PhD, they gave me most of the
Good.
simulation works. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
I think they got cut off.
Yeah, just a minute.
So, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so shall I go to next question?
Uh, yes. We were in middle of the question, I think.
Okay, I mean, okay, I have some more question. I mean, like, I
Uh,
mean, regarding this one.
yes.
Uh, so, do we need to take any language proficiency test like IELTS, TOEFL to apply for position in European countries? Okay, or any local language test?
Okay. So in particularly in my case, it wasn't required. In many of the institutes, maybe IELTS is required in many universities in Europe. Uh, but it's, I think, morely depends on the university. It's not mandatory in all the universities in Europe uh, because they don't even speak good English here.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
it's not a big deal. But IELTS helped me because they have a mandatory English course in the PhD. Like we have to complete some mandatory courses here. So if you have the IELTS, you don't have to take that course. You just get a pass in that. That was my case, and in the universities I applied, I think some of them had the requirement of IELTS or TOEFL or Duolingo or something, some language tests. Uh, but for PhD, local language tests are not needed. Maybe in Germany, I don't know, But in the other parts of the Europe, local language tests are not required for PhD. Maybe it will be required for masters, but not
Masters, yeah.
PhD.
Okay, so
I mean,
Dinesh, your views on this one?
yeah.
Yeah.
So IELTS was mandatory for me. A score of 6.5 and above was mandatory by Max Planck as well. Uh,
Oh.
but local language tests are only mandatory when you're applying for industrial oriented PhD, because at that level they don't actually speak English and they prefer you to speak their own language. So if you're applying for something like Zeiss or ASML, they would rather have you speak their local languages. So
Mhm.
other than that,
Okay, so that
university,
means,
yeah,
oh, yes, can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So that means if you wish to, I think if you directly apply for some job, or if you're going to some job or industry, then local language is quite required for that job. Maybe that's why they may expect. Am I right, Dinesh? Can I say like
Hmm.
this?
Yes, but
But for
one,
masters, I heard they are asking IELTS or TOEFL for
yes, sir. Yeah.
masters. Yeah.
So also
Okay.
the thing is like PhD is also a job. It's seen as a job here. So
Mhm.
you get all the benefits of a job. Uh, I mean, some local German universities actually prefer you to know the local language as well. But
Mhm.
like open fields like physics, they don't have any language requirements.
Mhm.
English is
Mhm.
the only
Yeah.
one.
Okay. So I'll take a couple of questions from meeting so people. I mean, Renee, Grace, can you ask your question?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Dinesh and Prateek. My question's gonna take a long time if you don't mind.
Yes, yes.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, so I actually graduated with BE in Electronics and Communication Engineering, and I'm planning to shift my career into astrophysics. So I tried applying on US and I got rejected everywhere. So do you think it will work for me to go for Europe?
Uh, I mean, USA is like, at least as far as I know, is like very strict in taking PhD students. But Europe is a bit lenient.
Okay.
I mean, they have fundings as well. So I mean, what kind of astrophysics degree do you want? I mean, PhD do you want to proceed? That also depends. If it is an organization or you want to go work with a university, because there are a lot of organizations as well.
Okay.
Depends on what you want to work on.
Okay. So, and is it okay? Like, can I take GRE physics to showcase my skills that I have a physics background? Because my rejections were based on the, like, since engineering don't have, direct papers with the astrophysics. So, is it okay? It will be a smart thing to take a GRE physics test.
For US, it is a must, I guess, to have GRE. But
Okay.
Europe, I didn't think so. Uh,
Oh,
Most
because the
likely
last time
not.
I checked for the TU in Munich, they mentioned that GRE physics is mandatory for those who don't have the directly come from the BSc physics or something like that.
Maybe I'm not sure about that, but
I
yeah,
think better to apply for masters, am I right? Than rather than directly research, because to
yeah,
get
that
into astrophysics, you may need years of time to do many courses, different
Okay.
level of courses,
Oh
and
yeah,
not.
yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
yes,
yeah.
Pratik, your views on this one? I mean, astrophysics.
Yes, it's
I mean,
good to have some.
engineering graduates, I mean, who
Yeah,
haven't done any coursework or something, or any project work, if they want to
yeah,
go to astrophysics field in the European countries, yeah.
yeah. If your physics background is good, then you can do some internships, and that will help you a lot. If your physics
Okay.
and astrophysics is not that strong, you are freshly coming out of engineering, then I would recommend you to do a master's in specialized subjects like astrophysics if you want to.
Okay.
That will help.
Okay. So, maybe I can try for a MSc physics or something from India, and I can apply for, for research opportunities and a PhD program in Europe. Will that be okay? Like, will that be good?
That would be an overkill because you already have a engineering degree that is sufficient to do a PhD. So uh,
Okay.
like I said, if you don't have enough exposure to physics, then you should
Mhm.
take an MSc. Even in India, it would be a better idea.
Okay.
uh, Otherwise, if you have a good physics knowledge to do the
Okay.
astrophysics, then
Okay.
I think you can go for specialized MScs.
Okay. And Dinesh, you were mentioning about some programming skills, right? Can you give me a couple of like what are the programming skills would become handy for applying for the for abroad education?
In particular, I'd say Python.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
also the thing is like machine learning is also in a rise. So
Mhm.
you could, if you could actually learn the basic concepts, I think it's being used in every single lab now. Even at Max
Yeah.
Planck, I've noticed that machine learning is being used. I mean, a lot of data. So it would be
Okay.
ideal to learn machine learning. But there are a lot of
Okay.
courses. I think
Uh-huh.
one is offered by the director of Max Planck as well. You can just check it out. It's called
Oh
Machine
yeah.
Learning for Physicists. So you could just learn through this medium as well.
Oh yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Pratik, what's your opinion about programming languages that comes handy?
Yeah, I don't know the specifics, specific language for the astrophysics, but
Okay.
I hear from the astrophysics people, they don't look up at the sky. They only look at
Yeah.
the sky. So programming is mandatory for astrophysics. You can't escape
Yeah.
that. Um,
Uh-huh.
Mainly machine learning, maybe image processing. I don't have much idea, but
Okay.
uh, you can translate into any language if you know a language,
Uh-huh.
and you can translate into C++, Fortran, anything. So
Okay.
learn one language correctly. That will be a good idea.
Thank you so much. And yeah, is it? Can you guys share us your LinkedIn profile or something so we can look upon yours and we can try to shape our ideologies?
So could you please share your LinkedIn profile link in the comment?
Yeah, sure.
Later at the end, you can do at the end. So
Yeah.
I'll okay. Anshul, you have any follow-up question, or shall I come
Yeah.
later?
Just the last question. How do you guys come up with the university list? Like, how, like, you may have applied across all over Europe, right? So, how do you guys come up with the university list? Can you just tell me that?
Um, Look for advertisements, and just search on the Google. I think that will be the best case.
Okay. Like, any forms of medium to get to know about all this? Any forms of medium you guys followed or something like that?
Yes, for me, I think there are many astrophysics positions also that a website Inspire HEP. There is a website called Inspire HEP and academics jobs on online. Those
Okay.
helps you a lot. Uh,
Oh,
there will be open positions listed there.
oh yeah, yeah. Okay. Dinesh, do you follow any mediums or something like that?
For me personally, I would just go through university websites and actually follow groups. It's actually good to follow one particular group in a university. That way you can
Oh, okay.
see the broad perspective as well. Because usually, if it is a
Okay.
really good group, they tend to work with a lot of other groups as well. So
Oh,
if you
okay.
can get hold of a really good group where you like the fit, so you can just see their collaborators. And I
Okay.
would rather yeah, go on in terms of the research that they're doing rather than the
Uh-huh.
positions. Yeah. So
Okay.
by the end of the day, we'll be spending 3 to 4 years in that PhD. So you would rather, yeah,
Yeah.
know what research they're doing.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. Pratik, can you come up with that two medium again? I couldn't note it down. Like one is Inspire HAP and other one is.
Academic jobs online.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Okay, Inspire HEP and Academic Online. Then then along with that one, visiting individual university website, individual research group website. So Pratik, you mentioned sending some emails like.
Yes, that's through the university. If sometimes it happens that they can take a PhD students, but they didn't advertise on anything. So if you go through some group that you really like and you can just directly mail the professors asking for a PhD position. If they have an extra grant, or if you can manage some funding from other things, they can take you as a PhD student. So you can send direct mails to professors asking for PhD.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you. I mean, those. Okay. Recently in LinkedIn also they are posting a lot of PhD positions. Actually, I mean, being active in LinkedIn group, following people. I think we may get some news actually. Okay. Anshul, can you ask your question?
Yes. Currently, I am doing a master's in mathematics from IIT Indore, and I
Okay.
aim for pursuing PhD in astronomy. And my master's project is also in astronomy. So, should I apply for PhD directly or pursue another master's?
Uh, if you are doing a project in astronomy, then I think you can directly apply for PhD. But depends on your interest, the topic of interest. If it is aligned with the master's project, then you can directly apply. If it is very different, like it needs very different skills than what you're doing in masters, then you have to. It's better to do another masters and join the PhD. It depends on, like, if you can learn the gap between the PhD topic and your master's topic. That
Yeah, yeah.
depends on that.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
another
Dinesh,
one thing
what's
that
your
I
take
would,
on this?
there's one thing that I would like to add as well. If you don't have the time to, actually pursue a master's degree, you can actually find the groups in India as well. They have like very good collaborations. Usually, the PhDs abroad into really good universities happens through internal, passing of PhDs. So if you are wanting to work in astrophysics or something like that, you can actually get in contact with professors in Ayuka and do a research project for 6 or 7 months and get in through their contacts as well. Usually, it happens that way. So they give you a recommendation internally to their supervisors or their close collaborators, and you can get in through that way as well.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. Okay, I will go to next question. Um, what is the timeline for applying to these PhD programs in Europe? When should students start preparing their application, statement of purpose, certificates like that?
Most of the program starts in fall, that is September or October. So it would be better to start applying in March or April. I saw, in my experience, many positions open in February, March, April, and they do some interviews in April, May, and then because it takes it takes uh, many things after getting the PhD, like getting the visa, getting the formal admission to the university or institutes that you are affiliated to. Those things require time. So I would say start looking for a position as soon as you can start, and preparing applications you can start maybe in December, January, and uh, April, May is the peak time for interviews and those things.
Okay, August, September will be the time that they start like that. You're saying?
No, they start in September or October, but you need time to get a visa and those things. So it requires much more time. So you can do admission in August and go in September.
Okay, you are saying in December, January, prepare yourself, decide the list of university like that,
Yes.
SOP, everything. Then March, April, that at that time you will have interaction, application process and all. Then
Yes.
September, October will be the intake time. Okay. So Dinesh, your views?
In Germany, it actually one of the period is the same for the winter, but there's also a summer period that they take in applications, and this would be like the large scale applications where every group is open to take a person. But after that, of course, each individual group also they can privately publish these things as well. So that will run throughout the year. So you have to keep checking the positions as well. But in, yeah, at least in most universities that I visited, there are two application periods, one in the fall and one year May to July.
Okay. So, I mean, in which month they have to start preparing application, suppose to Max Planck? Uh,
Uh, I mean, if you have all your academic records and everything ready, uh, to prepare an SOP actually takes a lot of time. You have to put a lot of effort. I think sir also might have asked you to prepare an SOP just in case. It's actually helpful even if you're not applying for abroad. It is helpful to prepare it at least 3-4 months at least before applying, so you can keep revising it, because your recipe should change based on what group you're applying to as well. So that will take a lot of revision depending on the group. So yeah, at least
I
three
mean,
four months
month, I
before.
mean, in which month they have to apply for Max Planck? Is there anything like,
There are actually two applications period. Uh, One is the winter period, that will be from October to December, and one more during the summer. There will be open positions at starting from May to July. So these two
Mhm.
periods, and they'll take intakes.
Okay, 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 thank you. So now next question. Uh, can we apply for this program without the help of educational agencies? Your suggestion, I mean, whether a student need to take any help of any education agencies to apply PhD, or whether they can apply themselves, Prateek?
Uh, yeah, in my case, I didn't get any help from the educational agencies. Uh, I did everything by myself. I don't think it's needed, because in masters maybe they can help you to get into a university, but here it's the interaction between you and the supervisor that matters the most. So education agencies can't help much in this case.
Yeah. Okay. So Dinesh.
I think this thing only comes up when you're applying to UK and USA. But
Mhm.
Europe, I don't see any agencies helping to the applications. Even for the
Mhm.
master's program as well, students do it themselves. So I mean, it's a lot of scam as well to get into educational agencies. So it's I
Yeah.
would rather step out of it and do the application by ourselves. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. Thank you. I mean, because I mean, they may not be expert. Am I right? I mean,
Hmm. And
I
lot
mean
of the
here.
time it's like, yeah.
Uh, okay. So
It's a
next one.
business because
Uh, yes. Okay. So could you share some tips on writing strong research proposal, cover letter, statement of purpose? I think Dinesh, you told you need a lot of time to write statement of purpose. So could you
Yeah.
please shine some light, Dinesh, on
Uh,
this thing, research proposal, cover letter, or you said essay or something?
Yeah. So for statement of purpose, actually, you have to tune it based on the group. Uh, Generally, you might have done like a lot of research as well into different fields, but they would rather like it very short. Against like the traditional thing that you have to write like 3 or 4 pages, my SOP actually ended up being 3/4 of a page. So if you can convey, they don't have time either, so it's better to convey it within a page what you're gonna do. I'm not sure about the research proposal thing, but yeah, statement of purpose and cover letter should be within the page. That's where it all takes a lot of effort, where you have to condense all of your life's work into one page. So that would take a lot of iterations. So yeah,
I
at least
mean,
that's my
you are
experience.
suggesting take months of time, like write one, then keep on
Hmm.
improving like that. You are suggesting, am I right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
So I wrote most of my statements of purpose in latex. I think that's also a benefit to have a standard language that you can write, not
Mhm.
just write it in Word. uh, yeah, that's where it takes a lot of time. to keep reiterating the statement of purpose.
Okay. So, Prateek, your views on this one?
Yes, I agree with Dinesh, and it is very important to be on point rather than just describing whatever you have done. And don't use ChatGPT directly. That could be a very bad idea. Write your thing, I think up to 90%, and then only for like checking grammar, those things you can use. You can use the help of other website like Grammarly or ChatGPT, but uh, don't use very sophisticated words, something like that. It won't help much. And because of ChatGPT now, they will know if even if you come up with your own uh, on your own, if the words are more sophisticated, it feels from the ChatGPT. So I think and grammar and punctuations, those things are very important because it's the first impression that uh, mm, it matters. Yeah, they won't reject you because of the grammar, but it would be uncomfortable to for them to read. So uh, it is very, very important to focus on those things also.
Okay. Okay. I mean, uh, hmm. Don't use any AI tool. You can use AI tool to correct the grammar. That's what you're suggesting.
Don't use them directly. Like don't
Directly.
ask it to like I have done this. Prepare me a SOP. Don't do like that. Write your recipe and maybe for correction you can use.
Okay. So, I mean, while writing research proposal, could you, I think, Pratik, you have given one research proposal to
Uh,
them. Could you please
yes.
explain?
Uh, Research proposal mainly it will be in theoretical groups. I think for experimental they already have their projects going on, so you are just a tag along. So I had help them from the supervisors. So what my PhD would look like. So they had planned only the simulation things because I only had that experience. But through negotiations, I added some experimental things also. So it depends on your interest and the work going on there in their group. Uh, you don't you can't do too much in the 4 years. So I didn't write a proposal. It was just a presentation kind of thing. So uh, that's it. I don't have much idea in that.
Okay. Okay. So, thank you. I'll go to next question. How a student currently in MSc or in the final year of MSc can prepare himself or herself to get into European institution? Your suggestion for MSc students?
Uh, I mean,
Dinesh.
I think that they're at the point, I think, to start a master thesis already. So, if they are like, I would suggest to choose really good institutions to do master thesis in, because even if you are done your master like not so good institution, if you do it in a really good institution, the thesis part of it, uh, it's usually your guide who recommends you to join abroad institutions. So it's like close contacts of them, and that actually makes a huge impact. And if you're already in a master thesis, and you're already like at most ending with the master thesis, I would suggest you to start looking for research internships. You can ask for unpaid internships, and many IITs are also willing to give unpaid internships. So you can get in through that, and then get a strong background as well within the field. So that will easily help you to get a PhD.
Okay, so you are suggesting to have a very good master's project. If
Mhm.
suppose it's not possible at the place where they are currently doing MSc, then better to plan for some internship or some unpaid project work in the premier institution. That's what you're
Mhm.
suggesting.
Mhm.
So that they can act like one of the referee also. As you have mentioned, referees are very important here. recommendation letters are very important here. So then, okay. Now, I mean, what are the skills that you suggest them to develop during MSc, so that that skill that they can highlight while applying the uh, PhD position?
As I've told, like one important skill definitely to learn is programming. Uh, Programming gets through a lot of things, and also like now modern skills as well, like AI and a bit of
AI.
statistics. Yeah,
Mhm.
statistics
So
also.
data
I think,
analysis.
yeah. So something oriented towards physics. So not just a broad aspect of AI that will end up into too much. Yeah. So instead of that, just focus on how AI could help analysis of data in your field, because now the recent AI models are also dependent on physics. So like the diffusion models and so on. So if you end up learning AI a bit, you can actually work on those fields as well if you're not interested to work in pure physics. So
Mhm.
applied physics where machine learning is applied completely, that is also a thing to consider. So programming, I would say, like an essential skill to develop. And also one more important skill is that to write reports. Not all MSc students are like good at writing reports. So in terms like using tools, for example, latex or any other word writing skill. Also like this will also help in writing proposals as well and SOPs. So to learn those skills also really important.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay, scientific writing, like
Mhm.
yeah. So I mean, suppose while publish, okay, that's why they may be. I mean, when you have a published paper, I mean, they may what you call evaluate you, like, okay, you have a skill of writing paper or something. Okay, so Pratik, your views on this one? I mean, suggestions to MSc student.
Yes, the writing reports part was very necessary. It's very necessary. And what else? Mm,
I mean, for MSc students.
yes, for
I mean,
MS.
or
Uh, yeah, the research papers. You have to start reading research papers. At least it's good if you start in BSc, but at least if you are in MSc, start reading research papers. Even if you don't understand the most part, it is very necessary, because you get to know what is happening, and what goes on in the research field. Because it is very easy to be distracted by fancy things like quantum, astro, those things. So you don't know, if you don't know what actually goes in that fields, there is no use for.
okay,
So
so
start reading this.
research survey. Can I say research survey? I mean,
Yeah.
uh,
S it's good to have it as a hobby, reading research, because it will help you to uh, get a sense what goes into the research, and it will help you to write the reports also, like how it should be constructed, structure, and everything else.
mhm. Okay, thank you. How should a student without a master's thesis or a project or internship experience approach applying for PhD? What alternative qualification or skill can strengthen their application? Because in many universities or many state colleges, they don't have master's project actually, and they may not have much exposure to do internship also. In such case, I mean, is there any alternative qualification or skill that can strengthen their application, like gate exam, as Dinesh told? So Dinesh, can you comment on this one?
So yes, if lot of people here don't have a good master thesis, and some don't even offer a master thesis. In that case, like one of the thing I would suggest is to actually find a research internship after that, after your coursework is done. Uh, and Programming is a skill that anybody could learn as well. Like it's now easily available. I mean, you can use ChatGPT as well to learn programming. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah. So other than that, I mean, entrance exams, preparing for those also would give them enough qualification, even if they're not trying to completely, uh, wanted to go to IITs or IISc. Just preparing for them would also like get a broad perspective of research as well. So
Mhm.
by the end of every textbook also they end up discussing what kind of research is happening as well, even as simple as Griffith's book also they you know uh, just give a glance of what research is. So that also really helps to actually argue it out during interviews. But yeah, a research internship would help after your masters as well.
Mhm.
It
Okay.
yeah, usually.
Yes. After masters, you are suggesting to have at least one unpaid internship.
Yes. So
Then.
usually
Hmm.
for a period of 6 months would be really nice to have, because that's the duration of master thesis as well. So for a duration of 6 months, if you could get a research internship, that would help a lot. And if it is unpaid, I think people are willing to give. The problem comes only if you applied for paid positions. So then there is a
Mhm.
lot of competition. If it is unpaid, yeah, then your most would accept.
Okay, in our premier institution, if you ask for unpaid internship, they will give you some problem and they may help you to develop some skills. So, okay, then you are strongly suggesting coding and data analysis, machine learning. I mean, latest skills
Mhm.
which is required in all field. Okay, Pratik, you want to add anything? Those who didn't have good master's project and internship experience. You want to add
Yes,
anything?
having a strong statistical background will be very good for the research and uh, the programming skills. That that will tell you that will tell them about your skills. So even if you don't have the master thesis, uh, I don't know if any professors will accept this without any research experience in masters. So it is very good idea to do the internship as he said, but not only in India, but you can try for European institutes also. I have some friends in my university only who didn't get the PhD position during for the first time, so they applied for an internship with the professor. So they did the 1 year internship and now they are into the PhD. So
Okay.
they can do that kind of things also. Not only in India, you can look for internship in Europe also.
Okay.
It's most likely to be funded, so you won't have to worry about that part also.
Mhm. Okay. So that's nice. So next, okay, do they consider Indian exams like GATE? I mean, in many they don't consider, but I think Dinesh, can you please help us to list out the institute where they
Uh,
considered GATE? One is Max
so
Planck.
Yeah. One thing is that for GATE especially, there is a program with IITs and Germany running. It's called IIT Germany Sandwich Program. So
Mm-hmm.
in that program, you can actually find all the institutes that link with IITs and Germany's. So
Mm-hmm.
every other TU, Munich, LMU, and I mean all top 10 TUs are part of this IIT Germany sandwich program. So not only that, there is NUS Singapore as well, and NTU, National Taiwan University. Uh, they also accept gate score for their PhD.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, because of this sandwich program, they are very well aware that the students coming out of these programs are really good. So they consider gate as equivalent as GRE exams.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Pratik, you had any experience like they are
Uh,
encouraging Indian exams?
no, I didn't have any experience in that because I didn't have any good entrance exam cleared, so maybe I
Okay.
didn't get any
Mhm.
experience in
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So how different? I mean, this is quite important question. One of the student asked whether the professor in Europe, whether they are friendly or strict or like that. How different the academic research culture and approach in Europe compared to India? Because you guys, I mean, Pratik, you especially, you already worked here. Dinesh also, I mean, you have done some research or internship, these things. When you compare it with Europe, okay, how different academic or research culture and approach in Europe compared to in India?
Uh, yeah, in my experience, it's like the professors there is no permanent professorship positions in like institutes like Max Planck. So they're always like project leaders, and there is no certain I mean surety that they're gonna stay for a long time. So usually because of that they push for PhDs. So that's how they end up having 3 year PhDs and 3.5 years PhDs. So they're always on the run to find the next new thing. So as far as guidance goes, it depends from uh, professor to professor. So a few of them are like it depends again. Like some are into micromanaging, and some are very open and very free, and give you a topic and ask you to do all the research about it. So it actually differs from group to group. So, but one good thing is that since there is no permanency in professorship position, at least, so they're at least in Max Planck, they keep running around. So that puts them on the edge to actually do the next new thing.
Yes, okay. Okay, there is no permanent positions like that. That
Yeah.
made them do, I mean, work, I mean, the latest research or something. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, as far as approach or, I mean, follow up, these things are concerned, that depends on the people to people. That's what you're saying. Am I right?
And one more thing is the culture is the I mean PhD is treated as work, so it's usually 5 days a week, and most of them leave the institute by 6. So in terms of having a personal life, it is rather preferable to have it in Europe if you are doing academic research.
Mhm.
So one thing I've noticed is that in India is that we tend up working until late night into a PhD. So that is not there, and Saturday, Sundays are a holiday, so they end up pursuing their own passion as well, other than academics.
Okay,
And of course,
work-life balance.
Mhm.
Yes. Mhm. Yeah, yeah, please continue.
Yeah, of course, there are some people who actually, if it is pressurized to show up to do some extra work, they do show up and do some extra work, but it's not very usual to see them working on Saturdays or Sundays. So, and after 6 as well every day. So they have a fixed period. Since it's treated as work, they just follow it by the hours.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay. Pratik, your views?
Yes, of course, the work-life balance is very much good in Europe. You can work. I think in my case, we can work at any time. Just we have they just want the work to be done. Even if I don't go to the university for 2 days, it's okay. I can do it from my home. That's also good. But I have to keep them updated and do the things. If I have some lab work, I have to go to the university. I have many astrophysics friends who don't go to the university for months. They just do it from home. So these kind of things are very much there. And Saturday, Sundays, no one works. Uh, Especially, I have seen in my university, only Indian students work very hard. I can't say very hard, but outside the hours, they leave at 7:30. Some people leave at 7:30, but I haven't seen any European person working on Saturday or Sunday or after 7:30 or 8 p.m. So
Mhm.
that's the case. And the main difference is, I think, the superiority feeling of the professors in India. That is not there here, because my professor is 73 years old But if he has something to discuss, he comes to my room, my office, which is on the first floor. He doesn't call me to his office. That kind of things you can't see in India. I think they treat you as their equals. So that it's not like you can feel it. Uh, I can't say for sure for all the professors in India, because there are many good professors in India. But generally, if you take that, that is the main difference in European and Indian culture. And yes, you have to be careful. This is not for all the cases. This generalizing can harm you, because there are men. I have seen many professors who are micromanaging and pressurizing students. So there are many people like that also. But you have to be careful. But in general, if you take, that's the difference.
Okay. Okay, so thank you. I mean, but I mean, now the time here it is changing. I mean, now, I mean, obviously, some of you will be young professor back in India. Obviously, you guys will change the culture. I'm very sure of it. So, okay, so I'll go to next question. No, I mean, I was about to ask the research approach. I mean, did you find any difference, uh, like the way that they do the research, or the way that they plan the research?
I could at least watch for my institution that everything is like very pre-planned. There's like group meetings and a huge sharing of idea sessions and everything. Not just that, they also organize intergroup meetings. So there is a thing called Monday Talk, and every other group is invited along with their group leaders. So they come and give talks into what actually is happening into their research, and cross collaboration is really a huge thing, not just within Max Planck, but also like other academics institutions as well around Max Planck, because there is a lot of industries as well. So they also show up for this meetings, and that is one thing that is completely different that I've not seen. There are like medical institutes as well, where doctors show up for these meetings. So even they wanted some new research to be done into their fields, so they come and approach and talk as well. So that is one huge difference that I've seen.
Oh, industry academia collaboration is very good.
Yes.
That actually helps graduates to get industrial job also, because they will have exposure. That's true.
Even
Yeah,
into like
Prateek.
hospital also, university hospital also shows up.
Mhm.
So like MBBS doctors also show up to have talks and collaborations as well. So you might end up
Nice.
working with a doctor.
Oh, nice. Yes.
Yes, I think
Perfect.
this is the case for most universities, because in my university also this is a thing. We have the intergroup meetings, and in each meeting someone will present their work, and all the group members can discuss it and ask questions, suggest some points, and yeah, that's a good thing. And as far as the research approach is concerned, uh, the person who I worked with in masters, he had a better approach than these people. That is in my case, but it differs from people to people. So uh, that
One,
is very many professors are good in very great in that aspect in India also. That I would say.
Mhm. Okay.
because most of them are at IITs and ISCs are actually returning from these European institutes. So they're also bringing
Yes.
this culture there. So
Yes.
it's,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
definitely.
changing rapidly.
They also trained most probably in abroad only.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is one. I'll come to some more questions are there. Yeah, we will share the recording. Okay, we will keep it on YouTube, and you please check our webinar page. I will share at the end. So I have 2 to 3 more questions. How is biophysics research in European countries comparison with India, if you can?
So yeah, I can speak about this because Max Planck actually had a really good biology, I mean biophysics department. now it has been split into two different things. It's like Max Planck physics of light and physics of medicine. So biophysics is actually kicking in so much. So they are working on one good thing about this place is that there is Siemens also. So they work on a lot of medical physics. So for that, the, I mean, research is kicking in as well into MRI and other stuff. But also with developing microscopy techniques. So into drug delivery and cancer detection. And also I've seen like neuron growth and neural growth as well. So even into those fields like biophysics is like it's a huge field now.
Okay. Pratik, you have any comment on
Yes,
biophysics?
yes. In my institute also there is a positron emission tomography group. I think I don't know much about India, but in comparison, here it is more interdisciplinary because this positron emission tomography group, they work, they have more physics, medical, and biology people and biophysics people as well. They cover a lot of area. They cover from quantum gravity to cancer treatment. So everything goes on there. Even the pure high energy physics people go to hospital and take some data on patients, something like that. So I I would say it is more interdisciplinary here than India.
Mhm. Okay. So then, how is material science research in European countries? I mean, can you compare with India?
I'm, at least in like silicon based research, it's actually very huge. I haven't seen any groups taking up uh, really good material science research because I mean, one, they don't have an industrial partner, which is a huge thing. So unless until yeah, with India is that if they could find an industrial partner to work with, either TSMC or ASML or somebody like that, at least in silicon research. So other than that, material science is like throughout the as a whole field, it's like I wouldn't say there's much difference, but only into this cutting edge field like yeah, chip design and stuff like that. Maybe I think we're lacking behind in material science.
Mr. Pratik, your observation?
Yeah, the facilities might be better in Europe, and the connection with the industries that is much more better than India, I think. I don't
Mhm.
know much about the research that's going on in material science.
Okay. Okay, nice. So, what is the typical stipend for PhD student in countries like Germany and you in Poland? I mean, how much money you guys make, Dinesh? Okay,
So I
now
mean,
during your I mean during your coursework and after coursework, once you start your research, what
yeah,
is the stipend in terms of rupees? Okay, we can't quickly understand the euros. Yeah.
yeah. So the typical funding for like a master student would range from 90,000 rupees to 1,40,000 per month. That's
Okay,
the
per
funding
month.
that I have seen. Yeah, that's the funding I have seen within my own institute.
Mhm.
So this is like two different programs that I'm talking about, but it's typically around that scale. And
Mhm.
after that, if you're starting a PhD, it depends on your supervisor how much funding they have and how much they're willing to provide. But at 75% scale, which is like a norm in every ETU or in LMUs, I mean, this is just with respect to academic degrees, yeah, academic PhDs. So that would be around uh, 2 and 2.5 to 2.6 lakhs typically would be what I would say like a PhD student would get. This is after all
Okay.
taxes and everything considered.
Okay, how
And
much you can save? Suppose out of
uh,
2 lakh, how much you can save?
so it actually depends like from person to person, but on a rough scale, like if you are living on a separate apartment and eating outside mostly, I would say like one can save up to a lakh. Uh,
Nearly 50% one can save.
yeah, nearly 50%. But if you are being conservative and you are willing to, use a shared accommodation where you get a single room but a shared kitchen and a washroom, something like that, you can save much more than that. And but when it comes to industrial PhD, that's a huge different scale we're talking about. That will range from 2.5 to 3.5, and depends on the industry that is sponsoring you. So yeah, so that is how it.
Okay, industrial one have more funding than academic
Yeah,
PhD.
yeah. Generally, they tend to fund like complete full scale funding. So they give the PhD scaling would be it's called the TV scaling. So they would give 100% of that funding, but the ranges are from like 50%, 75, and 100, and depending on how long you work. So you have to choose how you work. But even at TU and TUM and LMU also, they don't pay you. Most groups don't pay you 100%. They pay up to 75%, and yeah.
Yeah, Prateek.
Here in Poland, the currency is different than euro. It's not euro; it's Polish zloty, and the cost of living is, I think, much lesser than Germany or France, those kind of things. So we get around for the first 2 years, I'm getting 1.2 lakhs per month, and I can save up to 60 to 70,000. But after 2 years, there will be a midterm evaluation. If you pass that evaluation, then it will be 1.6 lakh. Uh, it depends on the project you are working on, because my group is very small, so I'm getting much less money. But if you work in a group which is related to application like medical physics or something, you get much more stipend.
Okay, you can save from 60,000 to 1 or 1.5 lakh
Yes,
per
yes,
month. Yeah, I
yes.
mean, okay. So depending on the funding, yeah. So yeah, so that's very nice. I mean, what are the cons? Like, okay, we talked mostly the pros actually, Dinesh. I mean,
For me, one huge thing would be like you get very quickly get homesick, not just because you're missing your family, but even with food and other stuff also. So if you want to try some Indian food, it's pretty expensive outside. So you just tend to, you know, uh, and yeah, cooking also is a huge thing. Yeah, because in most Indian universities, there are really good canteens, but you do typically to adjust to this food is very hard. And
okay, those.
one more.
So those here, those who says that our canteen is not good in our
Yeah.
institute, even premier institution, I think they can
No,
note this down. Yes.
yeah, I would prefer that food rather than this one. It's also expensive. It usually tends up to at least in Max Planck it tends up to 700 or 600 rupees per meal. So that is a lot to afford. So and it's like yeah, you are already like exhausted to come and cook as well. So
Mhm.
that is
So
one thing, and also
will everything? Suppose if you need rice or if you need
yeah,
some vegetables, will everything be available like rice
yeah,
or something?
everything is available throughout the grocery stores. There are like multiple Indian stores at least close by. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, so everything is available, but just that it's ideal to for as a PhD student to actually have outside food like rather than like in a
Outside food.
canteen or something like that, rather than eating or cooking by yourself. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah. And
Okay, are
also
you cooking by yourself or eating outside fully?
I mostly tend to eat in like the college canteen, but it's not that good of food. You have to adjust to their food. They have like a lot of meaty food, and whatever they call like Indian food is not actually Indian food. So so it's a yeah, it's always an ongoing thing. And also this thing that the PhD is 3 years, so you're always in a run. So
Mhm.
they usually
You'll not have
students
time to
tend to
think.
yeah they tend to extend it, although they really put out really very good papers by the end of the third year, because they end up
Mhm.
having really good projects to begin with. Uh, but 3 years is a very short time to complete a PhD with really good PhDs. So you have to like always be
Oh,
on
it went again.
those.
Yes, yes.
No, I think I can hear you.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, so you always have to be on your toes to complete the PhD. So
Okay.
that's one thing.
Mm. Prateek, your views?
Yes, the main thing related to your uh, job perspective, if you are willing to come back to India, you might face some problems because you don't know anyone. After 4 years, if you don't know anyone in India, then applying based on only your experience will be a little difficult because uh, the abroad uh, that only seeing abroad and accepting students is now over because everyone is doing abroad, and so having connections in India is a very important thing. uh, that will be a problem, that will be a drawback. And of course food. Food is I cook myself actually. uh, Here, food, you have to cook it yourself, for at least for me, because I'm a vegetarian. If you're a vegetarian, you're done. You can't eat outside. You have to cook for yourself because even some restaurants call fish as a vegetarian, so you can't believe them. uh, and egg is vegetarian everywhere.
Yeah. No, I
uh,
mean, I heard there are many vegans, vegan food or something like it is
yeah,
not.
yeah, you can't eat that. It will be just raw things.
I mean, in my
Okay.
university, at least it's like typically bland food if it is
Yes,
vegan.
yes, yes. It's
So
very
yeah,
bland. There is no salt, no spices, nothing. So uh,
Like
if you want
cows,
to, huh?
like our cows eat here.
Yeah,
yeah, more or less.
yes,
Yeah, they. I mean, at least in this university, they give something. Even for the supplement for rice, they use something called wild rice, and it's more like rice with like a bit of husk as well. So
yeah,
it's weird food. It's to get habited to.
yeah. Only good thing is there are many Indian stores, so you can buy all the ingredients and you can cook it for yourself if you have time. And another thing is the weather. I observed like in summers there will be light till 8:30 or 9 p.m. So for me it was difficult to adjust for my work. For those who work on a schedule, like from this to this, it's okay, but I don't work on a schedule. I just work based on the requirements of the work. So even if it is 7 p.m., it feels like 3 p.m. So it affects mentally, like yeah, there is more time you can work. That happens. And it exactly flips in the winter. That's the main problem. It goes dark at 2 p.m., so you can't you will be working at 4 p.m. in the total dark. So those kind of
Okay,
things
you are
will
in the
be.
upper hemisphere, am I right? You are in the upper
Yes,
Mhm.
hemisphere. That's why.
yes,
Oh. uh,
Yeah,
yes,
sunsets are around
Okay,
like
for us
10 p.m.
nearly then. Okay, we don't have this problem, am I right? Here in India
yes,
because we are nearby, nearly in the equator.
yes.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
Yeah,
So
also like
it will play
Yes,
with
yes.
your mind.
Uh,
Even if for 9:30 or 10 a.m. you can't see the sun, and so it's very difficult to get up in the morning in the winters. And due to clouds you can't see sun for weeks. So it would be difficult on your maybe mental health, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, Dinesh.
yeah, I'm also like we don't appreciate tropical weather in India too much, but when you show up
Yes.
here, you actually tend to appreciate that weather more than this one. They have like extreme summers as well, so I
Mm.
wouldn't think like Germany have would have like extreme summers, but they have like very less humidity in here, and even the sun rays are like too pointy, let's say.
Yes.
So you have to roam around with sunscreen everywhere. So that's one thing
Hmm.
that actually, yeah, a huge difference for me too.
But temperature won't go like 45, 50.
It goes around 35, 36 in summers.
but no
So
humidity. That's what you're saying.
yeah, no humidity, so it's very, it feels very hot at least. And
Yes, it feels 45-degree as in India.
Uh-huh.
for me,
Being
being from
below.
Bangalore, it's very huge. Bangalore always hovers around the 24, 23. So
Yes.
yeah, summer
Okay,
it's
the
like that.
language, because I mean, both of you are in the country where they don't usually speak English. The language, like the people, I mean, are they speaking usually English or local language?
Uh, in my case, in university, we can get by with English completely. And students tend to want work within the university, and outside the university, if you are visiting like local stations or traveling around, it's really good to have the local language as well. So
Mhm.
it's made mandatory within Max Planck to have learn the local language. So I'll be starting this September to actually learn the local language as well, until at least until B2 is what they're proposing.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, Prateek.
Here also it's the same case. We have to learn Polish language as a course mandatorily, and outside university, no one speak English. So it's very difficult in the grocery stores. Those kind of things, especially, uh, you can do a self check-in. Those kind of things, but uh, English is very rare outside. You can't hear English. That will be a problem because everywhere you go, you hear some language you don't know. So you don't know what's happening around you, anything. That will be a problem. Yeah, language will be a problem.
Hmm. Okay. Yes. Now, one more question here. What are the job opportunities after completing a PhD in Europe, both within Europe and internationally, or back in India?
Uh, I would say like if you're proceeding towards an academic oriented PhD completely, uh, then you have to look through a postdoc. That would be the next logical step. And of course, if you are looking for a postdoc, you can always get it into really good universities. You can even try Cambridge and Oxford after that. So, but coming back to India, there's only one option, that after your postdoc, you have to become an assistant professor. So industry is completely closed if you take an academic route. But if you are, I mean, this is only applies to fields like physics. But if you are in a field like chemistry, of course, you have like huge industrial openings. But if it is an industrial oriented PhD, which most are, I would say, like at least in Germany. So in that case, you would be hired within an industry right after your PhD. And coming back to India, I've seen a lot of Max Planck graduates also coming back and taking up jobs in India as well, because Siemens actually is like growing very huge in Bangalore as well. So one of my seniors who has done his completed his PhD went and took up a manager position in Siemens in India after his PhD. So that is also an option. So yeah, but not lot prefer that. They always tend to go towards academic route.
Yes, Prateek. Could you please? There are some.
Yes. As I said, industrial options are more here in Europe than India. Uh, there are many people. There are more people going towards India, towards industries here in Europe rather than in India. Yeah, for the academic line, postdoc would be the logical step. So it's very much better than India. The opportunities will be very much better than India if you do a PhD in Europe, because you get to visit a lot of conferences and many professors. So that helps a lot when you uh, for connections. So getting a postdocs will be easier in Europe in terms of connectivity and exposure.
So yes, now so shall we take some questions from the other people in the meeting? I hope I covered most of them. Can you have, okay, LinkedIn profile? Could you guys please share your LinkedIn profiles.
Yeah, sure.
And Dinesh, you talked about some machine learning course by Max Planck.
Yeah, it's actually a website also. So it's called Machine Learning by Physicists. I'll just put it in the
Chat box,
chat.
yeah.
Yeah, so there is recorded lectures for 4 years completely. Okay.
Oh, is it freely available?
Yeah, yeah, and everything is really available along with the exercise sheets and other stuff as well. I think it's there. Yeah. So I posted it.
Mhm.
Uh, I don't know. I don't know how to share my LinkedIn profile. Honestly, I'll
Yeah,
try to.
I was looking for the same.
No, okay. I mean, you just type your name in the LinkedIn, they may find you.
Yeah, I think the name is called. I mean, Dinesh Reddy itself. So
Okay.
so if you, yeah, I think two of
Yes.
them
So
had
then,
sent me a request as well. So it would be under, yeah, IMPRS PL. So
you guys told about Inspire, HEP, and academic job online. So okay. Then
also
as a
like
PhD student, what part-time job one can work? Another question. As a PhD student, what a part-time job one can work?
uh, at least in Max Planck, nobody takes up a part-time job with a PhD. So I mean, you can, if it is paid as 70%, you can take the other 25% as any other job. But as a PhD student, usually it will be like, to coach a kid or something like that for their exams. You can, there'll be a lot of jobs put up in the university board. So you can actually take one of those up, and it's good to have German knowledge in that case. But if they are preparing for USA universities like that, then they would prefer you. But there's also, one can actually work in a different lab as well. But I've not never seen anybody working with yeah, with a PhD.
Yes, same in my case. No one has a part-time job doing a PhD because PhD itself is a full-time job, so it's difficult to manage time and
Mhm.
getting a part-time job.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, how is your social life there? How is like the security, civil laws that are different from India?
I would say like I mean, having like an international crowd is really good. You see them coming from different cultures as well, and they have like different perspective into academia as well. So I recognize the importance of industry only after meeting international students. So they tend to do PhDs even in like ETH Zurich, and they end up into uh, industries. So you always can find Indians within any institution that you step in. But I mean, it's good to have a international crowd as your friends as well. So I would say social life is really good. But the one problem with Germany is that at least the city I live in, the city completely dies out after 6:30. So there is nobody outside. So usually the grocery stores and everything close by 8 in the night. So, and as far as security and civil laws, they're fine. There's no problem that one would face. Just that their own like local laws, like when you're riding a bike, wear a helmet and stuff like that. Even for a bicycle, of course. So these rules are very strict, and not to wear dark colored clothes when you're riding bicycles, and it's like that. So they don't have usually they don't bother international students at all, because once they catch hold of you, they have to either talk to you in German, or if you don't know German, they have to get a local translator. So it's a hassle for them as well. So civil issues, civil laws, I've never faced anything. One thing is that they have a lot of documentation that you have to go through in Germany. So even a single job here, there's like hundreds of papers that you have to sign. Yeah, I would say that is it. Like, in terms of that. Security is really good. You can roam around middle of the night and there is no snakes or nothing like that as well.
Okay. Yeah. So
Yes.
nice. Pratik, you want to add anything?
Yeah, here in Krakow, it's a very happening city. So it's an educational hub. So there are many diverse. You can meet very many diverse people in the university, but outside it's very much Polish people. So and it's not like its city dies out at 6:30, but here it will go on till midnight. Everything will be uh, open. So there are a lot of tourists also. So roaming around, and social life is, I would say, very good here. And the laws and all, the same as Dinesh said. Uh, it's very minor things.
Okay. So there is one more question. Do they have hostels? Is it easy to find affordable place to stay?
At least
Do they
in
have hostels?
this. Yeah, no, they have hostels, but you can't get anything done by staying at a hostel. So you have to get your city registration. Only then you can have your bank account done. So for all these things, you can't stay in a hostel. Maybe as a tour, if you're going as a tour, you can stay in hostels. But you have to end of the day rent places, and it is hard to find accommodation. But once you find them, it's like it's not expensive. It uh, it depends from person to person, like how comfortable they want. uh, I mean, in my case at least, it's like it takes around 500 euros, so around 45,000 to rent out a place, a single room. So that's how it is, and you can find many. There are like lot of support groups that will help you find one.
Yeah.
Okay.
In my case, they provide a dormitory with shared kitchen. It's very the cheapest available option. You can always rent also. Getting the dormitory will be a good, because you can uh, have many international uh, friends and also Indian friends. So it will be easier for you to have a good life, work-life balance. The life part, you can have a good life in the dormitory, because it will be kind of hostel, but you will have your privacy too. So uh, it's better uh, that way. Always you can rent an apartment too. That is also an option, but it will be a double price than the dormitory.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, I mean, anyone can ask any question now. You please enable mic and interact with them. Next 10 minutes, we shall take some question. Anyone? Rajendra, you have any question to Dinesh, especially? They studied together.
No, sir, I don't have any question.
Okay, I didn't hear what he said.
So he said he doesn't
So
have
you
any
almost
questions.
covered everything, so everything is
Okay.
clear now.
Yes. Okay. Any other question from any other question? Any other questions? Yeah, I have already taken most of the. Yes, Setu Bhaskaran, you can speak. You can enable mic and speak. That's better.
Yeah, hi. So it's affordable for a family to live in a PhD stipend, like a married person.
It is actually very doable. If you're having a kid, then it is a bit difficult, but you also have subsidies. If they're very young, then you get a subsidy of, if they're between one year, so you get a subsidy of around 1,000 euros per month from the government. If they are older than that, you get around 500 euros. So for kids, of course, but it depends. Like if you can rent a house, it'll be enough. You won't be saving anything as a married person, but yeah, you wouldn't be like, not sufficient either.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
Prateek.
Yeah, you could lead a life, because there are many I know many people who are doing PhD with their uh, partner and a kid. There are many people like that. It is possible.
Okay, thank you.
What about taking holidays, or if you want to come back to India, traveling charges? I mean, how frequently you guys are coming? Dinesh, you came back in between.
No, no. The thing was like with me, I had to put some money into the industry itself. So it actually we are starting that industry and it is pulling a lot of money. So, but yes, you can actually come back once in 6 months. I would say that would be a decent thing. But it takes around you have to pre-book it and it takes around 500, 600 euros. So yeah, you can always visit and go. If you can save up like 2 or 3 months of your funding. In case of PhD, of course, you can visit every single month. That's not an issue either. If you're living like single, yeah, so you can always come and go to India. So that
Yes.
will be my experience.
Yeah. The here the trend is once a year because my university offers 2 months paid vacation. So you can visit India at least once a year for a month or 1.5 month. That would be a good case, and people choose to go in winters to avoid the snow and everything. I'm also doing the same once a year, maybe in December or January, something like that.
Okay. Any other question? You can enable mic and speak. Can you read the question, Prateek? My laptop is out of charge. If
Mhm.
any other question, last
Uh,
question on the chat.
I think that was about the holidays.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll try to put all of this information into one web page. So that's better. I mean, so that because the whole meeting went very lengthy. Yeah. So now, I mean, what are your future plans? Like, I mean, Pratik, you want to come back to India or academia or industry, work there for a while? What you are planning?
Yes, my plan is to come back to India always that because I can't live without uh, the Indian culture and my hobby, the Yekshigana. I can't live without that. So I'll come back to India for sure, but I don't know when because maybe after doing postdoc, my plan is that. So I don't know. So immediate after PhD, the thing is to do postdoc and stay in academia.
Okay.
That's my goal.
Okay, Dinesh, your father is an engineer. I mean, you are some planning some industrial stuff. I mean, what is your future plan now?
I mean, as of now, the industry doesn't need my help as such. So it's running more or less by itself. So it's
Okay,
mostly like CNC.
your
Yeah.
father's
Yeah, no,
industry.
it's like it's a CNC machine, so they're almost like computer programmed. And at first, it required help because we had to buy machines and travel around and get customers. But once we
Mhm,
establish all those bases, now I don't think it's actually needed. That's the
mhm.
one of the reasons I actually went again to study again. So
Okay.
yeah, after this, I'm thinking about. I also got an option from Max Planck to move out as well. So I got two options to work with ETH Zurich and Cambridge as well for my PhD.
Mhm,
So they wanted me to branch out and try out a new country. So
mhm,
I'm looking into that as well because there are like really good quantum optics group in Cambridge. So
mhm,
that happens to be a future plan. But there's also, as I was talking about biophysics, that's also really growing now. So
mhm.
I met a few people working on neural regeneration on spinal
Oh,
cord. Yeah,
mhm,
so the neuron regeneration with respect to your knees and all the other parts of your body is completely opposite to the spinal growth. That's why when you get spinally paralyzed, there is no other going back to it. So Max Planck is also doing interesting work on that as well. So they're trying to find a method to regrow neural pathways in spinal cord. So yeah, that's something I'm looking at into. So I'm doing a short internship with that group as well. So
Okay.
I'm just figuring out what to do at this point.
Yeah. Okay. Very nice. Yes. Yeah, as at the end, if you have any last words to tell our MSc students or I mean anyone, I mean, to if they are planning to go to European countries, I mean, what is your suggestions? Anything else that if you want to suggest?
Yeah, I mean, one unique thing would be like not just to try for an academic PhD alone. Just look into industries as well, and even if it's academic, see that if it's an industry-oriented partner. By the end of the day, you have to also not there are like very few positions into assistant professorship, so not everybody can get into assistant professorship, and it's a long journey as well. So if research is the main goal, industry is also a really good potential option, and of course you can always come back from industry to academy as well. So I've
Academic.
seen a lot of professors coming back, but the other way it's very rare. Going from academy to industry is not that happening. uh, and also yes, I mean, that's all I would say, at least personally. uh, yeah, and yeah, this thing is which is one important thing for me. Change the thing is like entrance exams. So even though it's like it seems like it's not helpful outside, so it's really helpful to actually have a good basis and knowing how to solve those problems. So not only within yeah, within this gate exam, but even now coming outside also, to apply those techniques is even as now I'm studying like field theory as well. Even there it's like really helpful to know this basic techniques to proceed through. So yeah, that is one thing. Like don't take the entrance exams lightly as well. It's like you're learning some amount of really good physics, so it would always help to put some effort into it. And I think we also had a talk about this, telling just not learn
Yes.
entrance exams in terms of solving problems, but actually learning the physics behind it.
Yes. Okay, now for you, I mean, I didn't know that you had a homeschooling until you were class 10. Did it help? You think? I mean, like,
uh,
because you used to catch up quite quickly, quite had. I mean, you was a bit self learner, if I say. I mean, you had a lot of quite a different. I think Rajendra might have observed. So did that's homeschooling helped you? I mean, you think so, or?
uh, I mean, it has its downsides as well completely, because once you get homeschooled, you are never having a social life after that. So that's really bad as well. So tend to have poor interaction with people and other things. But of course, if you are homeschooled, you learn your own unique ways to solve the problem. So you are not searching for like standardized ideas to solve the problem. So that is one unique thing. But that also has its downsides. Like you
Yeah.
not knowing at least one single method that actually works all the time. You're always trying to figure out some your own method. So it
Okay.
actually has ups and downs.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, Pratik. I mean, if you want.
Yes. The main thing is choose your supervisors very carefully. That is the most important, and don't go blindly for abroad, because there are many bad professors and bad groups in abroad as well, and many very good uh, groups in India as well. So look for the group and the research they are doing. That will be first thing. And about entrance exams, not only just for knowing how to do physics, but if you are willing to come back to India, having a net exam helps very much in that aspect, to get a assistant professor or something like that. So if you are planning to go abroad, and uh, it is important to clear some CSR net before coming to abroad. That's the one thing, because it is in my regret lists that I didn't clear CSR net before coming here. So I can say to you that at least you can do it before coming to abroad. If you're planning to move to the India after your PhD.
After, okay.
Postdoc, yeah.
Yeah, I
If
would
you
agree
want to
on
come
that
back
as
to
well.
India, better to have CSIR net at least
Yes.
lectureship. Okay,
Yes,
you will
yes,
have
that would be
better.
plus point.
I would say like abroad is not a way the thing to skip this entrance exam. It's like you have to do the entrance exams as well. I think it's extremely helpful. By doing the entrance exam, you're learning physics by the end of the day. So not only just taking like abroad as an option if the gate and net doesn't work, you should also clear that and also show up to abroad. That is I think is the ideal way to go through. And
Yes.
also this also helps with getting this securing the internship programs within IITs as well if you're checking for abroad. So if you're clearing gate and CS just even just gate and approaching for an internship with a professor at IIT, they're like they will very much prefer you over somebody who's completely applying it emptily. So that is also one huge thing that I've noticed. So whenever I was trying to apply to ISC, gate was also a huge thing. So just writing gate as a thing, they just know that you at least can handle basic physics. So that is one thing I would like to say.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, any other questions here? Any questions? Any question? Yeah, any question in the Google Meet? Okay, thank you so much. I think you guys may be hungry. I think what's the time now?
And
9.
I think it's 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
At what time you usually have a breakfast?
mine is very less. I eat at 11 or 11:30, but
Oh. No, but you
Yeah.
have to have breakfast. Yeah.
uh,
So thank you.
It's
Thank you so much for.
Sundays. It's Sunday, so
yeah,
usually
that's the case for me as well. So
Yeah, here in Bangalore also Sunday nobody switch on the stove at their home. All hotel, I mean, they will. I mean, will be very busy. Like,
mhm.
yeah. Okay. So it's very nice to meet you guys and very good interaction. We gathered a lot of information. We'll try to put them into a web page because I mean this meeting went quite lengthy. But thank you so much for joining this session, and I will keep troubling you guys whenever our student requires any help or any guidance or any specific assistance. Actually, so please be in touch. Thanks for being part of SN Bose Physics Learning Center first, and thanks for joining this meeting and guiding us. Thank you so much.
yes, thank
Thank
you
you
for
for having us
inviting
as
us.
well. Yeah,
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
thank you so much.
Bye.
Okay, I'll close.